Good morning, Henros, on day 7, the first week on the Shikoku Henro. And today we have the famous climb to Temple 20, coming down and then going up once again to Temple 22. Then we have another hill, so today we have an overall elevation gain of about 1,000 plus meters. It's gonna be a tough day. Great night at the Minshuku where I stayed last night with the two ladies that they were super nice. Even though we had that issue with the overbooking, it was still a great experience. Cold morning, so it's not as hot as it was in the days past, so great. It's not gonna rain, we got blue skies. And they also gave me a lunch box for today's stage because there's no support after we leave this town, not until we make it to today's destination. So yeah, let's start climbing. The path is super steep. Yes, it is. And it's paved. And it also has in some sections the option to take a little stairs that they have. Or you can go on this one, all rocky all the way up. I already saw one of the guys that stayed at the same Minshuku as I did yesterday, the only one that spoke a little bit of English, and we got to talk a little bit there. I also saw one of the Henro houses, a Japanese lady that I think she camped there last night. Beautiful climb, a little tough, but it's gonna be short. If it's too hard for you, then you can always take like the road, and but that one is a little bit longer, almost twice as long, but it's probably the incline is not as much. So as always, you have options. Also, I got to see one of the signs that said the path doesn't go through here in English, which is exactly what I was talking about yesterday. So enough of a break. Look at this bench over here. Let's continue. We still got a little bit to go. I think we're probably at the halfway point. Perched atop the heights of Mount Kakurin-ji, at a modest elevation of 490 meters, lies temple number 20, Kakurin-ji, affectionately known as Otsuru-san, or the Temple of the Cranes. Renowned as a pristine example of mountaintop sanctuary, it holds the distinction of being the second most challenging temple to access, following only temple number 12. Since its construction in 1902, the Neo Gate has stood as a steadfast guardian, protecting the sanctity within. A heaven of simplicity and solace, Kakurin-ji rests amidst the tranquil embrace of nature, where wild birds gratefully dance with the wind. The mountain's resemblance to Vulture Peak, Buddha's revered retreat in India, led to the temple being named Ryojuzan or Vulture Peak. Founded in 798 by Kobodashi under the directive of Emperor Kanmu, this mountain refuge has endured the passage of time, remaining a bastion of tranquility amidst nature's embrace. Towering cedar, cypress, and pine trees, some with roots reaching back over a millennium, line the path leading to its sacred grounds. Despite the trials of history, Kakurin-ji thrived, its prosperity marked by the construction of 7 major buildings and generous land donations. Spared from the ravages of the Shokosabe clan's unification campaign, its isolated location ensured its preservation. Dominating the landscape is the 3-story pagoda. Construction started in 1817 and was completed a decade later. A symbol of enduring craftsmanship, it remains fully equipped with the ceremonial tools from its inauguration. Designated as a prefectural importance cultural property in 1952, it stands as the sole 3-story pagoda in Tokushima Prefecture. According to local folklore, 2 white cranes spread their wings and landed on an old cedar tree, seemingly protecting a small golden Jisu Bosatsu. Inspired by this scene, Kobodashi sculpted a 19-centimeter tall statue from the nearby sacred tree, enshrining it within the temple. Kakuranji's principal image, the Jisu of the arrow, bears witness to the transformative power of remorse and spiritual awakening. A hunter pursued a wild boar into the temple's grounds, unleashing an arrow in its direction. Fate intertwined, causing the arrow to miss its mark, lodging instead into the chest of the Jisu statue within the main hall. To the hunter's astonishment, a stream of blood flowed from the wood. Confronted by this profound spectacle, the hunter underwent a transformative change, repenting of his actions and choosing to embrace the path of the Buddhist preacher. It is said that the scar from the arrow remains etched upon the statue to this day, a testament to the hunter's remorse and the statue's enduring significance. Temple 20. I have to say, the temples at the top of the mountains are the best one by far. So peaceful up here in the mountain, in the forest, with those tree trunks that are huge. Those trees must be thousands of years old. And now we have a 500-meter descent. So we went up 500, coming down 5 more to the river, crossing over the bridge, and another 500 climb, and another 500-meter descent, and then a hill after that. So it's gonna be a good day, but it's not even 9 o'clock and I already tackled the first temple of the day. So we're doing good. It is at 10 a.m. and super windy. Made it to the bottom of the first descent. There's the bridge that I had to cross over and then start climbing again. On the way down, I saw yet another snake. So that would be 5. It was a black one. He wasn't on the trail, but as soon as he saw me, he started, slithering away. Found this vending machine here, and I decided to get something cold, an Aquarius, which is incredible because this is the drink that I drink all the time on the caminos in Spain, and to find it here is just like a little bit of a sign, you might say. 10 a.m. They love to play chimes here over the speakers. I've heard it at 7, now at 10, and also at 5 p.m. Let's drink this, cross the river, and start climbing. 2 hours to the top, and I have lunch up there. So just as I was crossing the bridge, a Japanese guy saw me, and he saw me flying the drone. He was all over it, asking me questions. He wanted to see on the screen what the car looked like, and he also asked me where I was from, so it was a nice little break. I also saw a guy coming the other way on a bicycle, and he warned me that the ropeway system is closed today. That was with the help of Google Translate, or not really, with this device that I brought that has been a lifesaver so far. Doesn't matter that the ropeway is closed because I'm not using it. It actually goes down to another town that's away from the path, but I think people take it and they stay down there. I don't know if the next day they come back up and continue walking. I really haven't looked into it. I'm just gonna continue on walking all the way. Let's see. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, 元気。
Thank you so much.
どうもありがとうございます。
I have a reservation for tonight.
今夜の予約があります。
See? I can get by with it. Also, all the locals here, at least the ones at the Minshukus, they have their own.
使い方はまた僕に言ってください。
Please tell me how to use it again.
And that's how we talk. It's been working out. And not just here, in all the other countries where I visited, and I don't speak the language. Let's continue. Been walking for 20 minutes. It's been easy. It's been on this paved path. It's not even a road. It's been nice and gradual. So we'll see. Maybe towards the end, we have a steep section. Let's go for it. Two additional wildlife sightings. Another snake, so the count is up to 6 now. It was by the river with that beautiful Henro hut with a nice view and a little picnic area there to sit and have lunch, but it was too early for me, so I'm gonna have it later on. The first half of the climb was pretty easy, just a nice slope on the way up, but the last one, 1.6 kilometers, where I find myself right now, is much like the climb to the first temple. On the way up here, I saw a buck or a deer. It was in the distance. He looked at me and he just took off running. It looked just like the one I saw yesterday in the Minshuku's kitchen, the trophy head, just like that one. I think I'm almost at the top already because I can see through the canopy and I don't see any more mountain. So that means that I'm not far away. There's a stone marker here. There are plenty of stone markers in the countryside or in the wilderness, and it's much appreciated. You can also see this little slips of encouragement, but they're in Japanese. But anyways, thank you so much. Reminds me of the ones that I saw on the Via Podienses in France. If you guys remember, they had the same thing. So let's continue. Almost at the top. Temple 21. Have you noticed how the first couple of days we saw so many temples? And then after that, it is day 7, the first week on the Henro. And we have seen a few, probably less than 4 per day. And from Temple 23, which is tomorrow, well, tomorrow I may see 22 and 23, but from Temple 23 to 24, there's an 80-kilometer stretch, much like the Camino Frances, the last 100 kilometers from Sarria to Santiago. That is a section which I'm gonna cut in half. When I take a train tomorrow, when I make it to Temple 23, all the way up to the border between the Tokushima and Koshi prefecture, and then walk for 2 days to Temple 24. Woo! We're climbing. Those are the steps. You better start training on the Stairmaster back home, because this is what you're gonna be finding out here. Temple 21, Tairyū-ji. The temple of the Great Dragon is sometimes known as the Koya-san of the West. Its name pays homage to the dragon deity believed to have safeguarded Kobodashi during his rigorous training. Situated near the summit of Mount Tairyū, at an elevation of 618 meters, this temple graces the southern tip of the Shikoku mountain range. Its origins trace back to 793, under the auspice of Emperor Kanmun's decree. Tairyū-ji emanates an ancient aura, resonant with the solemnity of Kobodashi's ascetic journey. The temple's atmosphere evokes the ancient spiritual essence, complemented by towering cedar trees that bestow a sense of reverence upon visitors. While historical records hint at Kukai's involvement in pilgrimage temples, definitive proof remains elusive. Nonetheless, Kukai's own accounts in the Sangoshiki details his meditative endeavors, signaling his pursuit of enlightenment. In his writings, Kukai reminisces, "When I was 19 years old, I ascended Mount Tairyū in Awa province and engaged in meditation to master the Kokuso Gumonji method, reciting it 1 million times. Despite his aspirations for enlightenment, success eluded him, prompting him to continue his ascetic practices further south, at the tip of the Muroto Peninsula. Supported by both the imperial family and the warrior class, Tairyū-ji flourished, boasting 12 branch temples during the late Heian period. However, he fell victim to the widespread temple destruction of the Tensho era, notably by Shosokabe Motoshika during his invasion of Awa, present-day Tokushima. Throughout the Edo period, Tairyū-ji endured recurrent fires and neglect, yet each time it was resurrected through the patronage of feudal lords. In 1992, a pivotal moment arrived with the inauguration of a ropeway, easing access to this mountain sanctuary, once renowned as one of the most challenging stops on the Shikoku pilgrimage. Spanning 2,775 meters, this ropeway holds the distinction of being the longest in western Japan, accommodating up to 101 passengers. The rope weight is working. I don't know what that guy was telling me. Maybe it was just a device that didn't translate it right. Got to spend about an hour there in Temple 21 and then trying to find the path to take me to the sitting Buddha statue at the top. It was a mission. First I talked to the groundskeeper. He pointed me kind of like in the general direction. And then the lady at the ropeway finally adjusted the direction, and now I've been following these statues on the path all the way up here. This is where I'm gonna be having lunch because it is almost 1 p.m. already. Well, the climbing got tough there at the last minute, but here is a sitting Buddha. I can see down there the ropeway and Temple 21. I was thinking about taking the alternative route that goes through the mountains here, kind of like traversing them and then descend at the end, because if I follow the recommended route, then I have to go back to Temple 21 and then follow the road all the way down. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I need to find that path before I even make that decision. Belly is full. I had lunch there by the sitting Buddha, and I found the path, the alternative one that I wanted to take. But then I get to this split on the road right here, and I see a stone marker pointing in that direction. And then I see this sign, and it says something 222 Awawamachi or something like that. And then down there, there's like what seems to be like a warning sign. So which way is it? Am I gonna get lost here in the woods? I'm thinking up. I'm thinking this way. Let me see what I do. Maybe use the app and see if I can translate something. If I see like a warning or whatever. I saw a similar sign like that one at the base of the climb. So I don't know. Maybe there's something in English on that one. Let me go see. Yeah, I think I'm going this way because I see Temple 22 and a little arrow. So this one it is. Oh, wow. Let's go for it. Come on. Well, I'm out of the forest, that's for sure. And I don't think I'm gonna get to see another one like that for a while. It was incredible, it was nice, a little bit rough around the edges, but that's how I like it. There were a few down trees that you can just step over, but there was one section there where they had a rope to help you come down. I'm like 4-point-something kilometers away from Temple 22. Let's do the final push, and I'll see you guys at Minshuku Panda. I feel like Po from Kung Fu Panda today, going up so many stairs. I think I'm done with the third climb of the day. It was a small hill, but don't underestimate it. This is a Henro Restop, as elaborate as I've seen so far. And here's an observation that I forgot to mention to you guys. On the first climb at the base, they leave walking sticks for the Henros when you get to like difficult sections. So I guess you could pick it up over there and drop it off here. I've been walking through a bamboo forest and you hear this clanking sound. There you go. It kind of sounds like they're passing a ball around. It's super funny and it just keeps you entertained. Look at this place. Woo! It's like a fire tower. All right, let's go. Let me feel the weight. Can I spin it? Oh, I still got it. But it's better when they're round. If I find one, maybe I'll get it. Maybe a little bit further down the line. Just to mix things up. So made it to Minshuku Panda at 4:30, and I thought for a second, should I go to Temple 22? But then again, I decided to leave it for tomorrow because then tomorrow I have two temples. Two temples today, two temples tomorrow. So I got here and the lady doesn't really speak any English, so I had to rely on that device. And she showed me where the places were. Dinner's at 6. I took that shower because today I stank. Yeah. Look at my room. I have a Western style bed, which is not bad at all. After coming out of the shower, I saw a group of Henros that I haven't seen since Temple 11. So the bottom of the climb when I stay there, so it's like a few days ago, they actually did the stage from Temple 19 and they took the cable car down and then the taxi here. Do you hear that? Nobody's judging, nobody cares. That's how it goes here, and I love it. So yeah, gotta settle in here, spread everything out, charge all my electronics, especially my watch, and just, you know, reconnect at 6 in the afternoon. Got a nice view here of the outside. By the way, this place is like right next to one of those shrines. So it's a very special place with a very nice atmosphere. I'm gonna go out and walk a little bit and check it out. Not as cool as my Tarragon Mini, but still did the trick, especially after a long day in the mountains. I already had dinner at 6 o'clock with two of the Henros, a French guy and a Japanese, in that tiny little kitchen dining room. I mean, here everything is like piling up on top of each other. Very rustic, you might say. And the other three are vegetarians, and they took a ride with the owner to the supermarket to get some supplies. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day, of course. We're going to see the ocean for the first time. We're going to walk through one of the tunnels, the famous Shikoku tunnels. And we're also taking the train to the border between Tokushima and Koshi. I want to thank Susan for being the trail angel of the day. Thank you so much, Susan, for being there for me on every single trip. Always giving me trail magic, being a channel member. If you guys want to join, you can always check the link in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the content on the channel and click on the notification so that you can stay on the loop. See you guys tomorrow at 6:30.